mobile stuff, and we had a group of 8 or 9 of us, and we got to the point of the problem definition, and we decided to split into 2 groups to solve 2 problems. So this is the pitch from our half of the group, and I think we've got another one coming along in a minute. So basically the question that we were trying to get to was how to quickly get to the information you need when you're somewhere. And the answer that we came on, I'll do this first and I'll go through examples, is a QR code. I don't know if anyone's seen a QR code, but they've been on the side of cans of Pepsi Max and things like that recently, and I think Facebook are implementing them, various uses like that. But basically, if you've got a phone, an iPhone, an Android phone, other phones as well do it, you can take a picture of this and it translates that into a URL, which then takes you to a web page. So it's pretty simple stuff. It's a new form of a link, basically. So you take a picture of it and it takes you to www.canterbury.gov.uk/whatever. So it's quite a simple concept. It's an evolution of the barcode, basically. But the benefit really is when you're out and about and you've got your phone, you've got your mobile phone, you don't have to type in a 20, 30 character URL to get somewhere. You don't have to type in anything, you take a photo, it takes you there. So if I go through some examples of what we thought it could do. First one, exploring local surroundings and history. So quite often you've got these fancy boards in areas of local interest, whatever, that say a couple of paragraphs worth of information. What we said you could do is you could have a QR code on that, you could take a photo of it with your phone, it would take you to a web page with more information, potentially where you are, kind of the exact location, take it to a Google map, it would give you more than just on that photo, but that display, tell you where to go to get more information, potentially you'd have it in different languages, so if you're a foreign tourist, you don't have to have 20 different languages on that page, you just have a code and it'll take you to a website which has been translated. If there's a path that you're following, it can tell you how to get to the next point. So if there's a trail around Whitstable saying all the local interest points, it would say your next nearest place is this one, so go over here and there's another QR code to tell you some information. So that's one example. Got a couple more here. Planning application. You see one of those little yellow bits of paper, laminated paper, lamp post outside your house with a planning application. Rather than standing there in the rain and reading all this small print, and all your neighbours know you're reading it, it's a little bit embarrassing. You take a picture of it using a phone, QR code takes you to the planning application website. So you can read it there if you want to, or you can go home. And again, similar kind of things, it's the information, the location, links to what you need to do if you want to oppose it or agree with it or get notified if there's a change to it. Potentially, again, different language translations and all the information that you'd like to get. Usually there's a phone number on there or there's a long URL you have to type in or a code you need to remember. This time you just take it, the thing with your phone and you go to it. So again, it's quick and easy, simple, potentially saves the council money because you haven't got you then ringing up because you can't find it on the website and you're trying to interact and you can't do it and you get frustrated. So similar kind of thing there. A couple more examples. Information board, similar kind of thing. You've got the church information board or the local community information board. Rather than having lots of long things to read, you have a bunch of QR codes on there which take you to more information. So you could stand there and read it if you want to, or you can take a photo of it, go to the information, gives you more information, gives you another way of interacting with it. One we thought with a bus stop, if it's got a QR code on it, it will take you to more information on that bus sign. Potentially, it would ask you where do you want to go. So you're at a bus stop, you don't really understand the bus routes, you're maybe a foreigner or someone who is new to the area or doesn't understand buses. You goes to a website, that your phone then knows where you are because that's related to that physical location and says where do you want to go to. So rather than having to say I don't know where I am really because I'm new to this area, you just say I want to go to Whitstable. You type it in, it says these bus routes you need to go on. So it's another example. I think the example we had was you're drunk, you don't know where you are, you want to get home. You go to this thing which is a taxi rank or a bus stop or whatever, you take a thing and you say I want to go home, postcode or whatever, and it tells you the easiest way to get home and gives you some links and opportunities. Well, one way we thought potentially the government or the council could monetise this is you could have it sponsored by McDonald's. So you take a picture of the bus, the QR code on the bus stop, and one of the links on the bottom is take me to our nearest McDonald's. So it's it generates some income for the council because it's a sponsorship thing and is again useful to you. It could be McDonald's, it could be Sainsbury's, it could be your local post office, or so it could be anything, but it's a potential way of generating a bit of money for the council. I think we have any others here. Well, the other one, which was an interesting one, less location based, but library books. They all have unique identifiers on them. They've usually got a barcode. Replace that with a QR code, and you have your library book. You take a picture of that. It takes you to the website, which is related to that book, which could have information on it, like the details of the book, the date it's due back, how do you renew it, a link to other books by that author, a link to the library location, a link to buy the book on Amazon, a link to the audio book. All kinds of information could be on that page. So those are some examples. The key thing really is the code is another way of linking using information. So it's very dependent on the back-end systems. The way we kind of thought we could start rolling this out was you have the QR codes linked to, say, a wiki. So in the short term, the council put minimum information on that wiki, and then users could generate their own contacts. So you've got the lamppost outside your house, it links to a wiki, and then you could put your own information. You could adopt the lamppost, adopt the wiki page for that lamppost, and put all the information on it that might be relevant. So kind of a short-term solution, and then as the council services get better, as they get more mobile applications and more mobile-friendly sites and more interesting sites, then they can add to that and put more interesting things on there. Bit of stuff about where this is going, because again, this is just a link technology. It's not amazing science. It's a evolution of what's happening. So in the past, you've had long URLs. So you had the www.canterbury.gov.uk/library/Whitstable/this, and it's a horrendous thing to put in. Barcodes as well, phone numbers, they're all the same kind of things. A link to an information source. Present, you've got the QR codes, which are starting to come out, early adopter thing, but it's available on multiple different platforms, multiple phones. You don't need particularly fancy hardware to use it. So is that a question?
How do you generate code then?
There's a various. I think you can go to as a consumer, you can just go to a website and print out a QR code. So you put in the address and it generates the QR code. So it's not that I know of. It's probably a good place to research, but I think it's a QR code. It's like the barcode. It's an open standard. So as long as you've got something, a unique bit of information to code into it. So, but yeah, it's probably a good point. I don't think, as far as I know, that there's something you have to pay for. But,
and your guys' answers to question 5?
Sorry? I just a future thing. The present is a QR code and tiny URL. Future potentially RFID, which is a similar thing, but which is you kind of wave your phone over or something like Oyster cards and things like that. So that could be a progression. Google goggles, which you could take a picture of something and it would recognise what it is and take you to that site. So it's progression. So this isn't. It's another way of linking. It's future can move forward and things. So just to answer question 5. We put some notes up, but just Gary said, who's the guy who runs the community info points, he suggested we put some QR codes on there as a kind of a trial to see if they get used and how they're used. Tom, who works in the local council, said he could raise awareness within KCC. I don't have any kind of skills, but I said I come up with ideas. I'm open to future conversations on this. And Paul, who had to leave before we finished the conversation, he's doing some iPhone app